All right. Hey, guess what? Good night and welcome to Straight Up. This is 107.1 FM. And we have somewhat of a packed program this evening, right? So spread the word, share the link that Straight Up is on, and we are ready to rock and roll on this beautiful Tuesday evening. It's a minute after 9 o'clock in beautiful Guyana.
This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them lang logy, now you got them bongolo. Long time got them lang logy, now you got them bongolo. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. Long time got them dirty dam, now you got them concrete road. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them jug lamp, now you got them electric light. Long time got them jug lamp, now you got them electric light. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. Long time got them broad bottom, now you got them tight straight. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. Long time got them broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. Long time got them broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. Long time got them broad churia, now you got them bamboo jai. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time pulang bukit wata, now you got them overhead. Long time pulang bukit wata, now you got them overhead. Long time pulang bukit wata, now you got them overhead. Long time pulang bukit wata, now you got them overhead. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. Long time got them ulul man, now you got them yong guy. Long time got them ulul man, now you got them yong guy. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not a before time. This ain't a long time, this ain't a long time, this not.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Kellyan Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins Firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins Firm.
All right, hey, guess what? Good evening. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up on 107.1 FM, where we tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If you look at what's happening in Guyana, lots and lots of problems, serious problems in Guyana. Very, very serious problems. And now I have the photographs of these three folks on, these three honorable folks on. The former to my left, or to the left of the screen, is the former Chief Elections Officer of GCOM, the Guyana Elections Commission. In the middle, we have there Miss Roxanne Myers, the Deputy Chief Elections Officer of GCOM, and the returning officer for Region 4, Mr. Mingo, Claremont Mingo. Now, there's a reason why I put the photographs of these three persons on the screen so that you guys can take a look at them. I know a lot of you already know of them, and it is my belief, and I know 99% of you would share this view, except the 1%, and we know who the 1% folks are. Now, these folks are being persecuted by the installed PPP regime. They are accused, of course, of electoral rigging, so to speak. There is no evidence at all against these folks. And then the question is, what has happened to the court matters? We're not hearing anything. You know why we're not hearing anything? I guess you all know why by now, right? Is that they have nothing to say. The PPP has nothing to say. The court has nothing to say. The police has nothing to say. GCOM has nothing to say, because these folks are innocent. They're innocent, and they're being persecuted by the PPP because the PPP doesn't want the elections petition to be heard, so that you guys can see for yourselves, all of you, especially the PPP supporters. They have to know. And you know, the PPP is hiding the truth. That is why, again, I'm saying that they're running away from the elections petition. But there's a saying in Guyana that moon a run. Let me see if you guys know the ending part of that. Moon a run. I'll see. Good evening to you guys again. Moon a run. Moon a run. All right. I'll check your comment. Moon a run till day catch up. Moon a run till day catch up. Right. Moon a run till day catch up. Look, we had a slight hiccup. We were broadcasting on the APNU AFC page. Our technical guy had to remove it because we didn't realize that there's still a back-to-back show. So I have a show, they have a show, we all have a show. We might as well just all have a show at the same time with each other, right? I guess that's how it goes. But one of the things, though, I'll tell you guys, as much as we go after the PPP, the installed PPP regime, they don't operate like that, you know. They don't. But that's another story. Lemon and I will have a serious discussion about that. All right. So good evening to all of you. Thank you all for sharing the link. By 9:30, hopefully, by 9:30, the leader of the People's National Congress Reform should join us for a few minutes. Indeed, it was a busy day for him, several meetings and so forth. And he communicated that to me. earlier, and I do understand. So I'm not going to be like some of those guys in the PPP and getting to a little feelings and hurt, emotional distress, and so forth. If the leader of the PNC is busy, of course he is busy. He had a meeting at 4 o'clock. He had a meeting at 6:30, and he has a meeting at 8 something in Queens, right? 8 something in Queens. I should have been at that meeting in Queens, and I apologize to the organizers for not being able to make it. And so they understand why I'm not able to make it this evening. But Mr. Orby Norton should be on sometime around 9:30. Now there is a Piri's asking if I miss. No, I don't miss you. Why should I miss you? No, I don't. All right, but thank you for tuning in, though. But no, I don't miss you. All right, so good evening to all of you. Brenda, Casey, Don Baines, Piri is back from God in Heaven Knows Where. Oren Lewis is with us. Capel Court, there gotta be a country man. Speaking of country people, gosh, I got two country people with me this evening. Miss Curtis McDonald. Quarantine people, country people. I have another countryman with me there, quarantine people. So I'm wondering what language Abby should talk tonight, ma. Abby talk like Abby from quarantine, or let's just speak some nice English here this evening. It's up to you guys. You guys tell me what y'all want, and we will do it. Let me hear you first, Honorable MP Curtis McDonald. Good evening, and how should we do this program?
Good evening to you, Mark. Good evening to my colleague Dinesh and to your viewers. Mark, we're gonna mix it up tonight. We're gonna mix it. Liverpool. We're gonna mix it up tonight.
Liverpool Village under quarantine. And Dinesh, Honorable MP Dinesh, you from Port Morant, right?
Port Morant, yes.
Port Morant. How should we do it tonight? How should we do this interview tonight?
Well, me from Port Morant, and all of me talk tonight is straight up talk, no makeup story. So how you want to listen is up to you. Me talk, how me know.
All right, Pandit. Namaste. So let me ask you this before we start. You stand up or you sit down?
Sit.
No. You stand up or you sit down?
Me sit down.
Miss McDonald, you stand up or you sit down?
Me sit down.
You sit down on a bench or a pira?
Me sit down on one stretch here, eh?
Good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you. So happy to have all of you watching and listening to the show. The people don't want to be left out. Travis McFoy is saying that Alverston is in the house.
Wow.
They don't make joke, And then another person, look, we don't want, yes, Mr. Peter, sit down. But look, Miss Roxanne, don't get upset. Y'all from Parika side, stay in Parika. Not tonight. We're not dealing with people from Parika tonight. But yes, we're dealing with everybody tonight. So good evening to you, Miss Bess. Good evening. But somebody else is not. She says that her dad is from Liverpool Village. The Smart, the Smart. They are from Liverpool Village, indeed. Lots of smarts. Yeah, but. Honorable MP, how have you been? Coretta McDonald, that is. How have you been?
Well, Mark, I've been good, I use challenges to propel me to go longer, higher, and to get even stronger. So I've been good over the last few days. And GTU is into its elections, so it's campaign mode. And so I've been up and around and busy. Not that I am scared of anything, but like everything else, as a politician, you have to ensure that the covers that you have on those corners, that those covers are kept there. So I've been around, but I'm good, full of energy.
Glad to hear that you've been around. Glad to hear that you're still full of energy. Let's get to the Honorable MP from Port Morant Village. Port Morant Village, a PNC representing the people of Region 6, but he is from Port Morant Village, and Port Morant Village is known as Cheddy Jagan area. But here it is that we have a strong PNC supporters. Supporter Sari, representing the PNC in Parliament. Pandit, how have you been, sir? I know you had a busy show not so long ago, but how have you been?
very good, sir. And I have been very much engaged in the activities in the region as it relates to current issues. And apart from that, I am keeping good. Like you rightly said, I am from Port Parant. To be more specific, I am from Babujan, PNC, representing all the way from Babujan, Port Parant, in the 12th Parliament, representing AP and UAFC.
Nice.
All right. Before we continue, let me take time out, because if I don't do it, they might put me out of that little village called Philippi. Ben, the Ben from Philippi. They'll put me out from that village. So yes, the people at Philippi and Alnis and Wim and all those villages, Letterkenny, Auckland,
Okay.
and Bloomfield, and hold on a second, then they get Tain. But there's a village, I think.
John's.
Yeah.
Tons.
You bet. Yep, I got it. So lots of things on the quarantine, man. The rice farmers are upset. The taxi drivers are upset. What's happening? You guys, you quarantine folks, what's happening? But let me pose that question first to Member of Parliament Dinesh. What's happening there? The rice farmers are upset, very, very upset. What have you been doing to go out there and hold hands and block traffic and stop cars and all kind of things with the rice farmers?
Well, Mark, I must say that the people are just getting the fake promises that were made to them by the PPP. We know that a lot of things happened 2015 to 2020 as it relates to the propaganda machine that was used by the PPP to, cause the people to think that the AP and UAFC was not doing good for them. I must say that under the AP and UAFC 2015-2020, we have had the highest rice production in this country. And I must say that the PPP promised the rice farmers that they will give them far more than what they receive under the AP and UAFC. But we see what the PPP giving the rice farmers now. They are protesting, which is their democratic right to do, and protest is part of our constitution. We have a democratic right as a people to protest whenever we feel that injustice is on us, and the rice farmers are now feeling the squeeze that they have to get involved in this activity and to air their views and their concerns so that Guyana, the Caribbean, around the world, everywhere, can see their plight and understand the depression, the stress, the discomfort, and most importantly, how angry they are with the PPP as it relates to fake promises. And I must say that, Mark, if you were promised 70,000 a ton for paddy and you are being paid 60,000, that is daytime robbery. And we know that the rice farmers cannot settle for 60,000 and 50,000. That is why they're out there. You and I know that rice planting is not an easy task. The overhead cost is very high. Fertilizer, everything double, manual labor double, gasoline up, diesel up. So we know that the people are facing a tough time at the moment. That is why they demand that the 70,000 be given to them so that they can be able to offset their expenses and feed their families. They are saying that if they are to accept 60,000 and 50,000, then they will not be able to make 20, 30,000 per month when we do the math. So indeed, it's a tough time for them.
It's a tough time because even the rice farmers are opening their eyes. They're seeing that the PPPC is basically full of propaganda, full of lies, broken promises. The PPPC regime doesn't care about sugar workers. They don't care about rice farmers. They don't care about taxi drivers. They don't care about ordinary people. They just don't care about anybody. And I want our friends who are listening to us from Blackbush Polder and number 43 Village, that we are with you guys, that I understand what you guys are going through. But I want you guys to open your eyes and to understand that the PPPC regime doesn't care about you guys at all. They're using you guys for political purpose to get the votes. And once you vote for them, you put them in office, they turn their backs, they forget about you guys, they treat you guys as though you guys do not exist. Corretto, let's bring you in on the treatment of rice farmers and other workers, not only in Region 6, but across Guyana. We see the rice farmers in Region 2. They are protesting as well. Your take, ma'am.
Mark, it is just sad that people are actually realizing now the game they were trapped into. You see, our people, we sometimes, well, not sometimes, we allow this race bait thing to get the better of us. And rather than dealing with issues, we go for this, especially when you see Jagdio and the set of them go up to Babu John there and they start their crazy talks there. They lead quite a lot of people astray. But what is actually happening now is that persons are facing the blunt of reality, which is the cost of fertilizers, like my colleague just said, the cost for gasoline, the cost for spreading out Shindo's paddy, the cost for drying, every single thing, the cost would have been up. And for you to say, as a matter of fact, many of those rice farmers, they have gone to the commercial banks to give them the kind of support, financial support they need. Now, at this juncture, when you're going to ask them to lower their prices, it means that you're putting additional costs on them because they're going to have to find the extra monies to repay the banks. The banks wouldn't want to hear, oh, you had to drop it because the ordinary man there and because of something else. The banks would want to have their monies. And so this is the reality that our rice farmers are facing now. This is the reality that our taxi drivers on the quarantine are facing. This is the reality that our rice farmers on the Essequibo Coast are facing. And they now understand. As a matter of fact, if we look at what one of the rice farmers said in, I think it was Blackbush Polder, where he said, if you can't come and help us, we are going to call on the leader of the PNC, Mr. Aubrey Norton, to come and help us. If you can't come and help us, and you must come to help us. Now, people are here crying in the wilderness because things are hard. For the regular workers, the public servants, teachers, nurses, everything else, the cost of living has skyrocketed. But you know what? The salaries of public servants, they are standstill. Every time you give them a 1 or a 2 or a 5%, cost of living rises, or the cost of living accelerates to 12 and 14 and 15%. And so it never balances off itself. You talk about all of these taxes that you would have reduced, but are you enforcing that fact to ensure that the taxes and so all these commodities that you list, that they're actually reduced and that the ordinary man can enjoy the salary that he's working for? No, you don't do that. And just like you said, Mark Benchcop, the PPP are all about themselves. All they want from you around elections time is the vote. When they would have gotten those votes and they're seated, they have no more time with you until another 5 years, 4 years from now, when they're going to come around to give you all the cash grants that you did not receive, all the help that you did not receive. They're going to be flooding you then so that you can vote for them.
That's just what it's about. And I think Honorable MP Coretta McDonald, you said it best there, because you understand that voting pattern. But let me ask MP Mahipal. I think we have a slight problem there with Member of Parliament Coretta McDonald. Hopefully that internet problem would be fixed. But Mr. Jai Prashad, forgive me if I call you Mahipal. Just forgive me, right? I haven't seen Ganesh Mahipal in a long time, and people People miss him. They want to know whether he's still around. Is he still around?
Yeah, he is. He is.
Well, thank you for letting us know
He
that
is.
he's still around. And just to remind our listeners that we should be joined by the leader of the PNCR in a few minutes. He's had a busy day, yes, so I can understand the the fact that things do happen and people do get busy. So people are saying, and I'm looking at some of the comments that that they are saying that how often are we going to continue, or people should continue to say to PPP supporters? And again, I'm specifically addressing the brothers and sisters, the rice farmers and others, particularly in the Blackbush area, Les Beholden, Johanna, Mybe Curie, and those areas, or the areas in Blackbush and 43 Village and other villages across the quarantine, that the PPP does not care about you guys. The more you vote for them, the more they take you guys and your votes for granted. They're not concerned about you or your development, economically or otherwise. Stop voting for the PPPC. But here's a question for you, Honorable Jai Prashad. And I know you have to go, so I'd like for you to answer, respond to this question before you go. Why do you suppose that the PPP supporters know that they're being abused by the PPP whenever the PPP is in office? They are being abused. Why do they continue to go out there, vote for these PPP vagabonds at Freedom House, put them in office, only to have the abuse continue? Why do they do that, Honorable MP Jai Prashad? Why?
I must say that this is a touching issue for most of us who have been in politics for quite a number of years. We see the trends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. That is our motto. We live well. We live good. We have a good relationship for 4 years. We take care of each other. We protect each other for 4 years. The commencement of the 5th year, there is when we see ethnicity, we see race, we see religion, we see color, we see economic status, and most importantly, we see the box where to vote. On the 5th year, that happens. But for 4 long years, we live together. I am saying many politicians are responsible for this. From since the 50s and the 60s to now, many politicians have brainwashed people with a lot of propaganda. So they have been hearing these things election after election after election, and it becomes a universal truth for them. So they hold on to that. And, many of our supporters, many of the PPP supporters hold on to certain facts that might not be the truth. I am saying to my PPP brothers and sisters.
It is so true, but do you think enough is being done to reach out to the rice farmers, most of them who may have voted for the PPP? We never know.
Well, this is the time. This is the time. You see what
to
happened?
Out to them, to let them know that the PPP is basically a gangster party. The PPP not care about them. The PPP just want to abuse them, use them for their votes. Go ahead, sir.
That is what we are doing in the 12th Parliament, Mark. We are a set of MPs who are taking politics in the regions at a different level. We have never had this dynamics before. You have never seen PNC and AFC coordinate and work like this prior to 2020. So we are saying to the people, this time a long time, if your grandfather voted for PPP and your father voted for PPP, this doesn't necessarily mean you must vote for PPP. We are bringing the facts to you to see here what happens. For so long you have been suffering, and you continue to give them the X, and what they do for you? Nothing.
Absolutely
as
nothing.
Sister Coretta,
you want to add something? Because I was going to show a video. If we can have Lemon line that video up. I want to ask you a question, Honorable MP Jai Prashad.
Fighting for our rights.
Yes, sir.
I mean, police men are physically abusing and harassing those rice farmers. PPP leaders are watching, have done nothing. And I'm certain that PPP leaders may have been the ones who sent those policemen and women out
Exactly.
here to harass those individuals. And here it is that I'm wondering, honorable MPs, whatever happened to those persons who may have been locked up, beaten? Some of them spent a night or two at number 51 police station. Maybe they took them to Skeldon or maybe Wim police station lockup. Whatever happened to those people? My heart goes out to them. Miss McDonald, you were about to say something, or Mr. Jai
Well,
Prashad?
Mark, like you just said, those police officers could never have gone out there without instructions. More so to attempt to do what they did there, that had to be done based on instructions. But you know what the PPP will do? They will turn around now and put lashes on those police officers just to say that, hey, they went out there and they went out on their own, and we don't agree with what they're doing there. These are innocent people who are championing their cause, and those police officers are going to be made the sacrificial lamb. But I want to say to our people, unless we understand the real PPP, then we are going to be carried away. And so we have to take time off to understand them and to educate others about the PPP and how they operate. And if we do that, then this country is going to be a better place. Mark, if you notice what has happened, since August 2020, we have had loads and loads and loads and loads of protest actions. Look across this country. When it's not the GAU workers coming out, it's the teachers, it's the nurses, public servants, and now you have the rice farmers coming out, and you have taxi drivers. Well, we had taxi drivers before, and now you have the taxi drivers again. When we had the flood recently on the quarantine there in Port Morant and all these areas, and Dinesh can attest to this, you had those contractors who worked. And when it was time for them to receive their payments, they were getting a push around here, a push around there, and a push around everywhere. And those men took to the streets. And so all of these things are happening, and I'm hoping that our eyes are really, really opening, and we are seeing clearly what the PPP, what they're all about. They don't care, just don't care about the ordinary man. Their interest is that of their friends and their families. And if I can go a little further to say, let's look at those who are receiving all of those big contracts. Check the names behind them. Check the persons behind the names. Sometimes you find the names there and the name is just a front, but check to see who is the person behind those fronting in front there. And so they just don't care about us. They just don't care about us.
They just don't care. All they care about is themselves.
Mark,
They're not concerned about the sugar workers. They're not concerned about the rice farmers. They're not concerned about workers. They're persecuting people. They're punishing people. They do not know how to govern that damn country. They're a bunch of reckless, incompetent political vagabonds. Sorry about that, Pandit. I just had to.
I want to say to the viewers, the PPP supporters, Guyanese and everywhere around the world, if that protest was held in Tain, Port Morant, police could never step in there. If that protest was in Bath Settlement, West Coast Barbies, police would have to run like when they ran during AP and UAFC time. I am saying this to the Guyanese people. Under the AP and UAFC, protesters made police run, duck for cover, because we know police duty is to serve and protect. There is a time that the police got to back off when civilians step up. But now we see what happened at 43 there is the police force, agents from the police force manhandling and abuse their power as it relates to those rights farmers. I am saying
You know,
that
yeah.
what happened there could have escalated more. Thank God that
Yes.
the people are thank God that the people are peaceful and law abiding, that they did not retaliate. But imagine a man being 60 or 65 being pushed in that manner by a police
Yes.
officer who is supposed to protect you. You know,
Yep.
there could have been implementation of other methods and strategies to clear them, but
Yes.
to go physically, if that was another area in the quarantine or in other areas in the country, then it would have been a very sad day for us. I wonder
Okay,
if
yeah, that is true.
yes,
If it was indeed, because I remember the people of Linden, they were protesting because of cost of living. But
Mm-hmm.
what the PPP did, the goons in the PPP at that time, Donald Ramatar was the minority president, and what they did, they sent their goons in the police force out there, and they weren't peaceful. They shot and killed three
Three.
persons, shot and killed. So what they did on the quarantine there, they heist up and dash behind vehicle. But I do agree with you, Honorable MP Jai Prashad. But had it been somewhere else, maybe like in Linden, Buxton, Agricola, the outcome would have been different. They would have used big, long guns. I'm not saying that they should have used their guns on the quarantine. Hell no, they should not have done that. But it is sad how the PPP is using the leaders of the PPP. They're using the police force to do their dirty political work. And the police who are doing it must stop, because they just should stop. Miss McDonald, you were about to say something. Sorry about that.
No, sorry, I wasn't saying anything. Sorry.
Oh, well, say something then. What's happening in the country, man? What is happening? You did say that if they know the real PPP. Tell us, what's the real PPP?
Mark, the real PPP, we know they are monsters, they are gangsters, they are riggers. Everything bad that you can think about, that's the group of people who are in the PPP. Man, woman, boy, girl, all of them are gangsters. When they're not gangsters, they are women abusers. When they're not abusing women, they're coming out against you. They want to offer you dildos. Man, it's crazy. Just crazy. And we have a bunch of people who just don't understand how to run a country. Everywhere else, you have all the protocols in place for COVID. And in Guyana now, we are going to be reopening everywhere and be throwing all those protocols aside. All those guidelines we're throwing aside when we know fully well that COVID is alive and well. So what exactly are you saying to our people, that their lives are not worth it? That you're opening up everywhere and you're releasing all those guidelines? Come on. Come on. Outside of that, we now have a health minister who has recognized that Sputnik is not valid anywhere, so they're no longer offering Sputnik. But all the time you were saying to the people, take Sputnik, take Sputnik. I remember when the then opposition leader, the Honorable Joseph Harmon, when he stood in Parliament and he raised those questions about Sputnik. Where are we getting it from? What are the conditions under which the Sputnik is being stored? Why do we have to go through a middleman? Is Sputnik being recognized by WHO? And you had a big hullabaloo coming from the Minister of Health, who's always sleeping, who always is thinking about and he's not sure about. But now he understands that WHO will not approve Sputnik. So all of those thousands of persons who would have taken Sputnik, they have to go now to get another vaccine to boost that, especially if they have to travel out of Guyana. So it's a bunch of clumsy people. We look at what is happening in the education sector. Well, we talked about the police force just now. Let's talk about what's happening on the international scene. Madness all the time. People just don't understand what they're about. All they understand is power, how to wield power and how to use their influence to stifle and oppress the small man. That's what the PPP are about. They're a bunch of oppressors.
Why, wow, well said. A bunch of oppressors. I know, Honorable MP Jai Prashad, I told you 15 or 20 minutes. We just have
well
another
said,
15 minutes. I
Al.
know
correct,
I know that you.
MP, Honorable. And
Yeah.
I must say that the people need to understand what really is happening, and we need to take stock of who and the powers we have as a people. We need to, move away from the traditional way of thinking and see the facts and make decisions that will empower ourselves and our family. We are a very wealthy nation, yet we are not thinking wealthy. We are still thinking in poverty. We have abundance in wealth, but we are still thinking as if though we have nothing. So we need to break this cycle, and we need to hold politicians accountable. So PPP are messing up, vote them out next election. Give AP and UAFC a chance. If they mess up, vote them out again. Keep them rolling until they will decide. Whoever takes this country, the people comes first. And that we got to
And you know,
stop allow we got to stop allow politicians to fill the pockets and get rich and build super mansion, and poor people, the taxpayers, the voters continue to live in poverty election after election after election. We got to stop that.
well, Dinesh, you're sure right, because we are a wealthy nation for the one Guyana, but the masses are poor. So that's the
Well,
wealthy set, the
I
one
don't even
Guyana
think
thing.
about the one Guyana.
No,
Whenever anybody say about one Guyana, I just say I don't want to hear that. I don't know anything about one Guyana. I know one
no,
Let me
people,
ask
Dinesh,
one
you.
nation,
Let
one
me ask
destiny.
you.
Dinesh, you
Not to
have to
cut you, Ms.
understand
McDonald.
though
Yeah.
that the
Go ahead.
one Guyana is about the Erfanali, the installed president, and his little group. That's the one Guyana. But the masses are the ones who fall under the one people, one nation, one destiny. They're the ones who are suffering. So that's the one Guyana.
I was going to ask. Thank you so much, uh, Ms. McDonald. Thank you so much. I was going to ask Dinesh Jai Prashad, the Honorable MP, uh, why don't you want to hear anything at all about one? This beautiful man. Oh, one Guyana? You don't want to hear nothing about this
I
one
don't
Guyana?
want to hear.
Why?
I don't want to hear anything
Why?
about this one Guyana. This
Why?
terminology, I don't know where it originates from, but we're seeing it on our currency, a Liga tender note that is, a national symbol for our people, and that is, a no nonsense for us. Our motto is our motto, and that should be there alone, nothing else. So tomorrow somebody else can get up and say, I'm sleep on, and put it on a $10,000 note. People got to stop think as if though they own us here, yeah, and own this country. So the one Guyana story, that is a farce just to use to spin some thoughts in some political support base to say, okay, we are one Guyana, which is total nonsense. We are not one Guyana. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. And anyone who say that we are one Guyana, let them go out there and see what is happening. Let them go out there and see what is happening to particularly many of our African brothers and sisters. They were sent home. They have mortgage to pay, family to feed. 2,000 of them plus sent home. One major ethnicity, and then you're talking about one Guyana. If you're
Guyana.
sending home, then send home 2,000 Indian and 2,000 African and 2,000 Amerindians together. Don't send home one set of people and say you're talking about one Guyana. These people got so many obligations, and in a pandemic, without asking any question, you're just sending them home. And then we are here to say one Guyana. That is out of my you know my
They are
Foolishness
so,
very,
indeed.
very
Mark,
sad.
they are
Yeah.
so disgusting. Just this morning, I was talking to a rice farmer from Leslie Holden. And this rice farmer was complaining about the cost of the paddy and what they are asking them to do. And then the rice farmer went on to say to me, Miss, when we had the flooding, the people in Leslie Holden weren't flooded, but they received hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know why they do that? They bring it and they give it to the people so that the people can shut them out, and whatever they tell the people to do, the people can do. And so this is what the PPP are about. They're about trickery, fraud, thinking that they can bribe people. Of course, they get through with it sometimes, and they think that that's the way to go. We have the president's college. We're now hearing that there's a sinister move to change parts of the name of that college. There is also a move to remove the bust of LFS Bornham and to replace that with the bust of the installed president. Now, I am saying I don't understand why we are going this way. Why do we have to do this? And I suggested then, I said, look, if we are talking, if we are saying that we want every president to be the person who will be supporting that school for a while, the word is slipping me right now, supporting that school for a while, then we should have been doing that all along. Or if you want to do it now, just like in Parliament, we have the pictures of every president. Put the pictures of every president if that's what you want. Put them up at President's College if that's what you want. But don't just come now and decide that you want to remove the bust of one president and install another bust there. It's not going to work. The people in Golden Grove will not allow you to do that. The students there, the old students, will not allow you to do that. So you better come with another plan. This is what they're all about. All they want to do is to govern here, govern there. They want to continue to be dictators and to spread their wings all over, so you can do nothing else but see them everywhere you turn. You see them.
All right, you see them all over doing exactly that. But I tell you what, the opposition, I'm sure, wouldn't allow them to do that either. Not just the ordinary folks, the opposition too, wouldn't allow them to do that. Honorable MP Jai Prashad, give us a little idea, the viewers, the listeners, a kind of idea as to what's happening on the ground. We know the rice farmers, the sugar workers are upset, and I want the rice farmers out in Blackbush Pola again to know that we are with them. That we are 100% with them. We understand what you guys are going through. I was made to understand my good friend J.R. Crawford has been busy on the ground with the rice farmers. I say kudos to you, J.R. Crawford. Let's go to the Honorable Jai Prashad in Port Morant, Nig, Belvedere, Hampshire, all those areas, Rosal, Port Morant, of course, Mississippi, and those other areas, Nig, Tain, and so forth. What are the people saying? Because they're not getting anything at all from the PPP. Nothing. And the PPP, I mentioned those areas because the PPP would love us to believe that those are their stronghold areas. But yet they're not doing anything for those people. How do those people feel, and what to expect from them?
Well, Mark, as you rightly said, most of these areas that you made mention of are PPP stronghold. They are feeling the squeeze. Basically, they are feeling the squeeze. Like every hardworking Guyanese, we are feeling the squeeze. Cost of living is more than the income, basically. And a lot of people in my area, Port Morant, and all the other areas, they are feeling the squeeze because when they go to the supermarket, when they go to the market, the cost, the price is for everybody. The price does not see APNU, AFC, and PPP, and Indian and African and Chinese. No, the price is the price. Who with the money get the commodity, get the product? And this is the problem for us. In most of these areas, the employment is a few public servants, few teacher, nurses, and general public servants, some Gaisuku workers, and majority are laborers into the construction, the farming, and the laboring aspects. Most of these individuals earn wages weekly, fortnightly. A few of us are on the monthly salary scale. So I am saying that people work and buy and work and buy and live. And when you allow cost of living, when this PPP administration is doing nothing about what is happening in this country as it relates to the high cost of living, we are not having any subsidies. The people continues to suffer. So normally a laborer works for $3,000 to $5,000 a day, and that's $25,000 a week. And you go to the supermarket and flour is 600 for a 2 kg.
Imagine that.
You know, garlic, onion, aloo, dal, all these things are actually double price.
Yep.
You are going to the supermarket with a $20,000 to feed a family of 3-4 for the week. It cannot work, buddy.
But
This is real tough time.
if the coalition wasn't cheated out of office, because we got to remind our listeners that the PPP rigged the 2020 elections. The PPP rigged the 2020 elections. Good. Now that we got that straight, that if all of these things were happening under the coalition, aloo raise, dal raise, flour raise, all this thing gone up, they would have been, the PPP supporters would have been cussing the coalition. They would have been
Not
cussing
costing
the
alone.
federation.
We would
But
have
now
get
flour
demonstration
gone up,
everywhere.
dal raise, aloo raise, flour gone up by 15%, Namelco or whatever said that flour gone up 15%. What is happening in Guyana, man?
Mark, you would have had the PPP elites themselves, Jagdio and all of them, you would have had them at their press conferences like
And
what they did
not only that,
in,
correct, and
in
not to cut you,
2018.
we would have been seeing press releases upon press releases by
Yes,
the private sector commission, the
yes,
Corinthian Chamber of Commerce, the Georgian
mhm,
Chamber of Commerce, and all
yes.
these, I don't know,
Just
all
like what they did in 2018 when the teachers were having the industrial action. You had Priya Manikchand with all the Facebook posts in support of the actions. You had Jagdeo hosting press conferences. But in 2021, it was a different story in 2021. When the same teachers took industrial action, it was different in 2021.
oh man,
So you see, these people
speaking of
are
teachers,
inconsistent and they only do things when it's convenient for them.
oh yeah, and people are seeing that, including teachers. Speaking,
Exactly, people are seeing. But
yeah, people are
what we have to do, Mark,
sure.
what we have to do is to ensure that we remind the viewers and the voters that you have the power to do something that will cause you to be happy. And we need to remind the viewers that under APNU AFC, salary moved from 35, 39 to 70.
Mm-hmm.
It has been almost 2 years now, 18, 19 months. On what increase we have? Increase in cost of living, not salary, increase in cost of living. So we see the PPP is the opposite of what the AP and UAFC did for the working class. You know, we put money into the hands of the people so that they can go and spend more.
Yes.
That is business. That is economics. That is taxation. You give them more money so they spend more and they are comfortable, because that's basically to make people happy in this life. But the PPP wants to make us a hamper state so that they will come around every 3 months and give us a bag of this and a bag of that, and we smile and we say, yes, thank you very much.
You know what?
And they're gone.
You guys don't be surprised if they have snap elections in Guyana. The evidence is pointing in that direction for snap elections. Jack Dio is going to call a snap elections. Things are not working out for them. And that is why they've got to be careful. The opposition has to be careful, because maybe they're trying to set things up at GCOM so that some sort of jiggery pokery can take place at GCOM. So you guys in the opposition, y'all got to wake up and focus in those sort of areas, because y'all don't want to be cheated out of office or to be cheated again. Y'all got to be tired of being cheated. The PPP rigged the elections. But speaking of teachers, my gosh, my heart goes out to the teachers. I know the Guyana Teachers Union, y'all have elections coming up soon. Ms. McDonald, you were running for the general secretary of that union. I can sense that there might be some changes in terms of the top. I'm sensing that because people want new leadership at the top. I'm sensing that. I'm a CFAR man. Why should people go for you again as general secretary, Ms. McDonald?
Well, Mark, you know,
talk to the teachers, talk to people. Go ahead.
All right, Mark and the viewers out there, our teachers out there, then Coretta MacDonald, outside of being a member of parliament, Coretta MacDonald is a teacher. And so I've been in the classroom. I understand what it feels like to have to write notes of lessons, or what we call lesson plans now. I understand what it feels like to take your own monies out of your pockets to decorate your classroom, to make teaching aids so that your classroom could be class friendly. I understand what it feels like to have to struggle when you have to stand on the road to catch a minibus, and you have to think about Where am I getting the next fare from in another 2 days? I understand all of that because I've been there. And so I have been on the forefront championing the cause for teachers in and out of season. I've been there during the 2000s. I've been there in 2000, in 2003, in 2007, in 2009, in 2011. I've been there with our teachers. As a matter of fact, Coretta McDonald was one of the founders or one of the authors for the first ever, when we created history in this country in 2007, when head teachers began to receive duty-free concessions for the first time. When teachers began to receive clothing allowance for the first time, when teachers began to receive allowances for additional qualifications, Coretta McDonald was right there. I was one of the persons, I was one of the signatories to that agreement. And from then, I continued to champion the cause for teachers' rights, for teachers to be treated equally, for teachers to be respected. As a matter of fact, Coretta McDonald has been there when teachers were abused by parents. Coretta McDonald was at the courts with them, at the police station with them. Coretta McDonald has always been there championing the cause, not only for our male teachers and our female teachers, but for our very students and pupils and the parents too. And so it is because of these reasons and because of the passion that I have to make sure that people are comfortable, that teachers, and I'm not saying if, this is what teachers will do. Teachers will vote and re-elect Coretta McDonald as their general secretary. You know, teachers, what struck teachers outside of my outstanding work that I would have done over the years, what struck teachers is the fact that in 2018, when the coalition government was in power, and Coretta McDonald stood in the forefront there and brought the teachers to the streets because our business was not being dealt with. And so teachers understood then that Coretta McDonald is a teacher. Coretta McDonald doesn't play politics when it comes to the business of teachers. And because of that very act, teachers have been more confident in Coretta McDonald. As a matter of fact, when you walk this country and you say Coretta McDonald, teachers will tell you that's the lady who would stand up for us. That's the lady you can call at any time. That's the lady who would go out of her way to ensure that things are happening. So in 2021, when our issues were the same issues that we faced in 2018 and 2009 and 20 whatever and 20 whatever, when we came out in 2021 with boots on the ground then, our teachers recognized that my boots was always on the ground with them, unlike some people whose boots were off even before the boots came on the ground. And so our teachers are confident that they have a true fighter, a true representative. Whether, you know, and people get carried away, some people get carried away with this thing, and you hear them talk about all kinds of qualifications. But I want to say to them that the constitution of the GTU has nothing to do with qualifications. It says any financial member can be nominated to run for any position. And Mark, I need to say this here before I close off. We have had campaigns over the years. As a matter of fact, the GTU has been in existence since 1834, I think it is, 1834, somewhere there. I think it's 1844. The GTU would have been in existence. And it is amazing that this time around, the GTU is experiencing its worst campaign when it comes to the elections. And this kind of gutter business is being perpetrated, or it's being spread there, or it would have been started by the president of the GTU. Could you imagine that? Teachers are supposed to be professional people, and we're the ones who are deemed the molders of the nation. And for the president of the Guyana Teachers Union, Mark Light, to sit on a live on Facebook to degrade his female colleagues because a female is running against him, he described that female, Miss Vanessa Kissoon, and maybe Coretta McDonald too, and all the other two females who are not with him. He would have described them as elements. And this man is a pastor too, you know. This man is a pastor. Now, when a man could describe a woman, could go at length to describe a woman as an element, you have to watch that man. More than that, teachers have been saying to us since Sunday, the utterances of the president reminds them of a certain clan of people who have been disrespecting women. And because our teaching profession is primarily made up of female teachers, teachers have taken offense to that statement coming from the president. And I would say shame on the president, because you know what? The president has sisters. The president has a wife. I'm wondering how the president would feel if somebody were to describe his wife as an element. The president ought to know better, and he ought to do better. You see, in campaign, Coretta McDonald, I would have been out there. And I don't have to talk about anybody who's running against me, because I'm confident about what I would have done, my stewardship. And so as I go out there, I remind the teachers of what I would have done over the years. And so I don't have to talk about anybody else. I talk about me, what I did then and what I will continue to do now. And our teachers know that coming out of Coretta McDonald's relation and outreach there, we would have been able to secure partnerships with several business entities. GTT just the other day presented to the Guyana Teachers Union $2 million worth in phone cards for our teachers, phone cases, discount, and all of that came as a result of Coretta McDonald's interaction with the new chief executive officer that we have at GT&T, Mr. Damian Blackburn. Thanks so much to you, sir. He came here from the Bahamas, and as soon as he got here, his first attempt after meeting with his exec was to meet with Coretta McDonald, because he was told to do that by one of my colleagues in the Bahamas, the president of the Bahamas Teachers Union. But I'm saying all of this to say Coretta McDonald is a teacher, a true soldier. And when we talk about putting our boots on the ground, Coretta McDonald is right there. Regardless of which political sphere I belong to, teachers' business is my first priority.
All right, thank you.
Teachers will vote for me based on that.
That's quite a mouthful indeed. She is talking about her track record, and she has explained to you guys. She's running for the position again of General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union. And Miss Vanessa Kissoon is running for the president, to become the next president of the Guyana Teachers Union. She's running up against Mr. Mark Light. And the allegations made that Mark Light has described, assuming that he's talking about you or Miss Vanessa Kissoon as elements. That's the allegation being made, elements. And then folks seem to think that Mr. Light is just a PPP stooge. I'm reading some of the comments here, mind you. But I just want you guys to know that Mark Light, and if he's watching, he's free to come on this show as well to talk about his track record and to talk about why people should vote for him to be president of the Guyana Teachers Union for the third term. So I just want to make it clear that Mr. Mark Light is free. He's welcome here. But I also want to let the listeners know that on several occasions I
was just going to say that
Mr. Mark Light to this show, and he ran away. I don't know why he ran, but maybe he got into one of his elements. I don't know. But
well, Mark,
we've got to go though. I'll invite you again, Miss Carter, so that I know your blood is boiling. I know I can sense it. And if Mr. Light is watching, maybe he can offer all of us some prayers, or maybe Pandit can offer us some prayers so we can get out of our elements, so to speak. But if in fact Mr. Mark Light, who happens to be the current president of the Guyana Teachers Union, described women as elements, female teachers should take note of that. It is unacceptable if in fact he said that. Unacceptable. let us
Well,
get to
Mark,
the closing remarks.
Mark, it's live on his page. It's on his page, so it's not an allegation any longer. It's on his page.
I will check on that. I will check on that. People are saying that he is basically in bed with the PPP. I don't know that. I'm not going to spread that propaganda. People are saying that he's in bed with the PPP. I don't know what they're doing in bed, but let us don't be distracted. Let us get the closing remarks from the Honorable Jai Prashad, who has taken a neutral position. He's uttered not a word about it, and I respect that. I respect that.
You didn't ask me my views. I must say, Mark, with your permission,
Sure.
I am a member of the Guyana Teachers Union, and I am a voting member, financial member. So I will be voting. I will be voting for Coretta McDonald for General Secretary, and I'll be voting for Mark. I'll be voting for Mark Light for president. We have our individual preferences and so forth, right? I'm saying that GTU is in campaign mode, and we have a right to choose who we want as leader. So the teachers out there, go out and vote sensibly. Don't vote because Dinesh say vote for X or Coretta say vote for Y. I'm saying teachers are the molders of this nation. Look at history and vote sensibly. That's my take.
Let me ask you this. I know Mr. Mark like that. I know Mark. We're all from neighboring villages and all these things, and I know his wife, a nice person. But why wouldn't you vote for Vanessa Kisu? I'm just curious out of that. Just curious.
There is more than what we are seeing as to what really Mark has done for the teachers in this country. Sister Coretta has been very much close in this leadership, supporting Mark as the president for the past years. And she know that since Comrade Bino to Comrade Mark, GTU has been moving to a next level. I am seeing that GTU is the only union that can truly represent its representative, its workers, basically. In Guyana, GTU is the strongest union that worth its salt, basically. So I am saying that, kudos to Coretta, kudos to Mark for ensuring that teachers have a proper representation. And I'm saying I don't have anything against Comrade Vanessa. She's a sister in the union as well. And I don't have anything against Coretta or other candidates who are contesting. But I have my own reservation. Like all teachers, you got to know what you're doing. I am very much,
I got you. And
finally, by closing, I want to say two things.
Sure.
This week, Friday, we will be having Holy Pagwa. And Mark, I want to thank you for affording me the opportunity to be on your program and allowing me space every Tuesday night. I must say that may God continue to bless you, Coretta, you too, and family, and all our viewers and listeners. God is good to us. We need to praise him every single day. And in doing so, we all will continue to live as brothers and sisters. So remember, we need to celebrate this Pagwa at home. Avoid the crowds. Don't go to the mailers and all these big celebration. COVID is there. COVID is real. Stay home. Spend time with your family. Play. Cook something nice. Listen to some nice music and chowtal and enjoy your Pagwa. So on behalf of my family, myself, and my home circle, happy Holi to all of you. Enjoy the Pagwa. God bless. Thank you very much.
Happy Holi, and you make me want to go and watch back that movie Silsila with Amitabh Bachchan when he sang that song.
Yeah.
Rangale se, hey bhai, Holi hey.
Holi.
Are longai lachika bhai, longai.
Longai lachika.
Longai lachika. Thank you so much. All the best. But Miss McDonald, I know you're singing up. I'll invite you back again with the next president of the union, the Guyana Teachers Union, Ms. Vanessa Kisu. I'll invite you back with her, the next president. But it's fun that we all can agree to disagree and we still get along. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Good.
Mark,
Thank you. Thank you.
I am we're basing, it's so fortunate that this year, International Women's Day, the theme was breaking the bias. And we said we're going to be breaking barriers. And you know what? Women have been in the forefront. You check the protests, women are there. Check the schools, women are there. Check the workplaces, women are there. Women are there to spread the tablecloths, to put up the decorations, to cook the food, to do everything. But when it comes to leadership, there is where we have that barrier, and we need to break those glass ceilings. We need to be able to have our women lead out when it's time to lead. And so, to my brother Dinesh, I trust that after tonight you'll reconsider your decision and you'll understand that we need to embrace our women. We need to propel them to move on. We need to look to these women who have been championing the cause all the time. You know, we talk about what Mark has been there, but you know, you look at the executive. Women have been pushing Mark. Mark hasn't done anything by himself. The women have been pushing that. And when Mark came there, Mark was building on what was there already. And so Coretta MacDonald has been there from branch secretary going all the way up to all the secretaries. And so I'll continue to champion the cause, and I'll continue to promote and uplift women because we're going to break those biases.
And we don't want men who get into their elements and describe women
We don't
as
want
elements. We just don't
who
want
get,
that.
in,
Look,
who get into their feelings and want to describe
know-
women as elements.
I know as soon as you get off this phone, your phone will be ringing off. Trust me. Just sing that song of Silsila for them, man. Longa ila chica, bye. Thank you so much, Panditji, and happy Holi to you. Thank you so much, Ms. Curtin McDonald. I wish you all the best as General Secretary. I know the evidence is there for the work that you have done throughout your your tenure there. Teachers are happy; they can be happier, but I do believe that they can be happier and they can be better off with true and real, vibrant and aggressive leadership. And that can only come from women with courage. Vanessa Kisun, a courageous woman, has been out there in the forefront for women's issues, fighting against injustices throughout the country. Gosh, as I hold my stomach here, I say, just imagine what she can do.
Mark, but let me just add it.
If the teachers go out there in their numbers, including my good friend Dinesh Jaiprashad, go out there also and hold hands with others and make that change at the top of the Guyana Teachers Union and put a woman who can show that she'll be on top of her elements to represent the teachers throughout the country, regardless of their political affiliation, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their sexual orientation. Just go out there and get the job done. I thank you both. Thank you both.
Thank you. Good night.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Yes.
And happy
Take care. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Y'all go and take those phone calls. They will be coming in. Yep, thank you all so much. And I want to thank Mr. Dinesh Jaiprashad. I begged him for 10 minutes of his time, but he was gracious enough to spend the entire hour plus with me this evening. Thank you so much, Dinesh. And thank you, Coretta, as well. We wish them all the best. And I know that the teachers will vote, and the teachers will vote for a change of leadership, because it's time that we have a person who can get the job done. That person, I would say, when you look at her in terms of her her bravery, her courageous stand throughout the country, a single mother, all her kids are out, in schools, one of them in the U.S. Army, I believe, and a lot of these kids, her kids are successful as a single mother, as a member of parliament, as a politician, as a fighter, as a mother. Someone who's about to get her to graduate maybe very soon from the University of Guyana. Look at her track record. Look at what she has done for the people. And just imagine what she can do for teachers if she and when she becomes the president of the Guyana Teachers Union. Go out and vote for her. Vanessa Kisoon for president of the Guyana Teachers Union. Enough with the sneaky business. Enough with those who try to tell you that they're not political, but behind the scene they might be they might be in bed. They might be in bed with those who are oppressing the teachers. Be careful when you vote. Vote for the future of our children by ensuring that you have a person who knows the system inside out and can fight for all teachers across the country. God bless you all. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. I must apologize. Aubrey Norton did say, and I do understand that he had a busy schedule. He did message to say that he apologized for not being able to be on tonight, but he will be on very soon. And I accept that apology, sorry. And so I bid you farewell until tomorrow, right here on 107.1 FM. Don't forget the morning show with Gabby and DJ Selector Andre. They're on tomorrow morning from 9 o'clock to 11 on 107.1 FM. Let me just go. Before I go, sorry about that. This guy won his case, right? Remember, I told you guys last evening that he will win his case. He won his case. He's a free man now. A free man. All right. He's a free person. Free. He's free to go. The Caribbean Court of Justice told him, go. He's free to go. Right? Interesting. Very, very interesting, right? All right. Meanwhile, the family members of these fishermen, continue to pray for them, man. Continue to pray for those fishermen. I'll be back tomorrow. And let's continue to support those rice farmers in Blackbush Polder, and other parts of the country, even those rice farmers in Essequibo, taxi drivers, ordinary workers, teachers, everyone. Let's continue to support them. The PPP doesn't care about them at all. So long. God bless you.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.